What's up, guys, and welcome back to another NBA news and analytic commentary episode. It's the first episode of July, which means today is July 1st, 2021, and today I'm going to be talking about Game 6 between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns in Staples Center in Los Angeles, and the Phoenix Suns were able to close out this series with a final score in Game 6 of 130-103, and the Phoenix Suns, for the first time since 1993, are going back to the NBA Finals. Those were the Charles Barkley days. That year he played the Chicago Bulls, and he was able to get a win, except they lost in 5 games. So, what's next for the Los Angeles Clippers is what I'm going to talk about first. And Reggie Jackson and Kawhi Leonard, especially Kawhi Leonard, is the main concern here, even though Reggie Jackson, if they can find a way to maintain both those players, would be huge for their team. But both of them, if they want to, they can leave Los Angeles this year. And I don't believe they will, but you have to wonder how this series would have played out if Kawhi Leonard had played any games in it at all. I mean, Game 2 and Game 4, those games, if Kawhi Leonard played, or even Game 1, if Kawhi Leonard played, would it have gone a different direction? Would the Clippers have won that game? If Kawhi Leonard played, would the Phoenix Suns have had all the momentum that they have right now? And would they have won this series? And if they did, would it be in 6 games? That's a hard question to answer, and I guess we'll never know. But Kawhi Leonard, at the end of the day, we have to look at reality, and Kawhi Leonard did not play. Paul George, playoff piece, stepped up. I don't want to hear any abuse of this man. I understand he missed those 2 free throws, but he did virtually all that he could for this Los Angeles Clippers team this playoff, and I'm very proud of him, and I think all the NBA fans should be proud of him as well. And the thing about the Los Angeles Clippers is this was the perfect storm for them, and they finally made a Western Conference Finals for the first time in their 51-year history, but they didn't even make the NBA Finals. And the Suns are a very good team, but I feel like this was one of the best, if not the best, chance that the Los Angeles Clippers would have to make the NBA Finals in quite some time. I mean, next year you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis coming back, and I understand both of them may not be on the court all the time. Their injuries could come back, especially with Anthony Davis, and LeBron James is only getting older, but they'll be back. Jamal Murray will be back, and the Denver Nuggets will be back, and that's a team that they were up 3-1 in the bubble and they lost to, except they were eliminated, and so were the Lakers, and they beat the number 1 seeded Utah Jazz as well, and the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference in Philadelphia, they were knocked out. The Brooklyn Nets, a super team, they were knocked out. All of these quality basketball teams were knocked out, and that just leaves you with the best team remaining on paper from a statistical standpoint was the Los Angeles Clippers. They have the biggest market out of all the teams remaining, except they couldn't get the job done, and when all those players come back, I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I really don't. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold on to Reggie Jackson. I hope they can. I know he loves the city of Los Angeles, but I don't think he'll take a $5 million deal, a $10 million deal. So, because he's due for a nice payday, especially after this playoff. So this was definitely the best opportunity that the Los Angeles Clippers will get to have an opportunity to go to the NBA Finals in quite some time. Except now we're going to be going to the Phoenix Suns, and Chris Paul finally, after over a 14-year career, has made the NBA Finals, and it's amazing how the most crucial games that he's played in his career that have mattered the most are this far and this late into his career. I mean, he is in his, I would consider his very late mid-30s, maybe late 30s, and he's finally made an NBA Finals appearance, and he came to play. Devin Booker came to play as well, but Chris Paul dropped 41 points in the biggest game of his career, and they won, and they were able to beat the Los Angeles Clippers team in Staples Center, but they not only were they able to beat them, they crushed them. They beat them by 27 points, and I still think Tyronn Lue is an amazing coach. This playoff has really made me change my mind on him. He's 10-3 in elimination games, and that's the best all-time when it comes to any coach in playoff history, and that is just an awesome stat line for Tyronn Lue to have. So the Phoenix Suns, do I think they'll be able to win the NBA Finals? Well, they're either going to play the Milwaukee Bucks or the Atlanta Hawks, who play at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. In Game 5, the series is tied 2-2, and I believe that the Hawks are going to win that series because Giannis Antetokounmpo is listed as doubtful, and tonight's game will be played in Milwaukee, by the way, but he is listed as doubtful, and Trae Young also most likely will not be playing, so really it just depends on which team can play the best without their star player, and I believe that team is going to be the Atlanta Hawks, even though I feel like the best individual player on the court will be Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's very interesting because most people, when they looked at this series, they would expect obviously the Bucks or the Hawks to win, but they wouldn't be evaluating who would win this series based off of who can win. Can the Bucks win without Giannis, or can the Hawks win without Trae Young? That is a very interesting storyline, and it just adds to the amount of injuries that all of the teams in the playoffs, except for the Phoenix Suns, really have experienced this year. I mean, it's such an amazing thing what has happened, and it's overwhelming, and that's another reason why this was the perfect storm for the LA Clippers, but they just weren't able to get the job done. But it's a huge milestone to finally make the Western Conference Finals, and I believe the momentum that they have, they can make it back, except I don't think they'll win. I really don't. I don't think they might not make it back next year, but they will at some point if they can maintain Kawhi Leonard, especially if they maintain him and Reggie Jackson, because Paul George's deal isn't up. His won't be up for another 3 years, and I think he'll re-sign unless if things go south. But yeah, this was just a crazy playoff, a great series, and I believe no matter what, even if Giannis comes back or even if Trae Young comes back, I feel like this Phoenix Suns team is going to win the NBA Finals. You heard it from me first. This Phoenix Suns team will win the 2021 NBA Finals. The team that beat the Los Angeles Lakers, the team that beat the Denver Nuggets in 4, they swept them, and the team that beat the other Los Angeles team in the Los Angeles Clippers in 6, similar to the Lakers series in which they beat them in 6, will be playing in the NBA Finals. Charles Barkley, he will be on NBA on TNT and the post-game watching the Phoenix Suns go to the NBA Finals. Let me know what you guys think. Who is going to make the Who's going to make the NBA Finals from the Eastern Conference? Will it be the Atlanta Hawks or Milwaukee Bucks? I'm your boy Meatloaf. Peace.